I am here to kill you. But first, let me tell you about my entire life story of how I was a super sexy assassin. It all began 37 years ago. You know what? Never mind. Let's just fuck.
Okay.
And now we're fucking. I'm never gonna fuck again. Hey guys. These two dicks have got no
That's what that
rhythm.
song's really about. I don't know if you know. It's about how much George Michael wants to sleep with you.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, can you blame him? This is the Indie Film Review. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you here.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah. Put your two dancing dicks away. We're here to talk about independent films. That's what we do here. And this film is certainly no exception. This is what an interesting film we found today.
Yes,
Dan.
we have been emailed by Rod Maceda, who is
Yes.
a Filipino director. He emailed us his film Na Unhan, or Innocent Traitor. It's subtitled in English. And it's really cool because it taught me a little bit about the Philippines that I didn't know. So apparently there are 3 different squadrons. I don't want to call them squadrons. 3 different areas. 3 different
Welcome
areas.
to Squadron A!
3 different areas of the Philippines. And the main language of the main place of the Philippines is Tagalog. And I know that because I've taught Filipino students. And I get to know some of the language. But this is not Tagalog. And I couldn't figure out what this was. And apparently it's from the Visayan sector, like the Cebuano sector, because it's Spain's influence of this colonial Spain era, and so the Cebuano Visayan is the language they are speaking, and most of it is kind of Philip-English. We'll say that.
Yeah, it's a mix of the two, and this movie claims to be the first Bomba film from that region.
I will.
And I'm like, what is a Bomba film?
I will agree to whatever that is.
I also agree to whatever that is. And I looked at what a Bomba film is, and it's basically just like a softcore sexy film.
Oh. Like pink films in Japan, but they were totally pornographic.
Yes, because for a long time, it was illegal to even have those types of films in the Philippines, in this area specifically too, and I don't know if they're still illegal. There's definitely still controversy around having a film like this.
To be completely transparent with the audience, it's very conservative for being softcore. We'll say that. Anything that is pornographic at all, or just has explicit sex scenes, they're either filmed in stills, or it's just heavily implied that that's what's going on, and it's not very explicit at all.
Well,
like you could probably play this on television in America.
Yes, but here's the deal. So this isn't it says this is the full film. This isn't the full film.
Really?
The real film does have sex scenes, like 100% sex scenes.
We did watch this on YouTube.
Yes, and there's many links that he sends of like, hey, if you want to see the real film, the full movie, even though he sent us and said this was the full movie, you have to go to, I think it's Cine 800, and I guess you like message this thing, and then he sends you the real movie. So it's like, it's that underground. That's how underground it is.
Well, I'm going to be honest, I don't necessarily want to see the whole film if that's the case.
I don't either. I'm glad he sent us this version. Because I mean, so Rod is the main he's the main force behind this movie, right?
Yes, he's probably director, writer, and I believe he stars in it as well.
Yeah. So if he were to send us the full film, we would have to see him fuck every single woman in this film, because I think he's the only male.
Yes, he is.
In the movie.
He plays 2 males, actually.
Yeah, he plays multiple characters. So it's like, I don't know if that's for me. So I'm kind of happy we didn't have to see that. I will say though, there's like a charisma about Rod though. There's something about him.
We're gonna review Na Unhan now, or Na Unhan now. Innocent Traitor.
Innocent
this is a film.
Traitor.
It's about a woman. Well, okay. It's weird because you don't think it's about the woman at first. You think it's about the guy. Mm-hmm. So just go into this film knowing it's about the woman. I think that'll help the enjoyment of the film a little bit more. You won't get lost like I did. Anyway, this woman, she has a traumatic past, and she's taken in by this group of Visayan assassins, and they are led by this woman named Miss V.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss V reports to this woman whose name begins with a G. I forgot what her name is at the time. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Miss V, or this woman who wants this man named Alfie Sandalvo, or no, Alfie Reyes. Yeah. She wants Alfie Reyes to be hit by this assassin. So this woman named Rianne, she goes...
Wait, hit with sex? Like hit
no,
with
like
a lot
hit
of sex?
as in like she wants him dead.
Oh!
So this woman, Rianne,
okay.
she goes to hit him, and
yeah.
she recognizes him and decides not to hit him. But
she hits him,
way.
But like not in the way, in the way that you wanted.
But the reasons for her hitting him are very fucked up and strange.
Ooh,
so we will get into that whenever we talk about spoilers.
What a film.
Yeah.
So just a little bit more about these types of films. So in the Philippines, they had these Bomba films, right? And they were a way to kind of normalize sex and talk about different things that happen that involve sex with people, because a lot of the stuff they would just kind of ignore, like getting pregnant or dealing with relationships with other people, or, you know, like a lot of like really serious things that they're able to tackle through film. And it was almost like there's an educational factor to it, and then also like, oh, this is sexy, I'm into this. It was almost like, let's actually make real films for real people. That's what they were trying to do. So you could have long stretches of, you know, just like a really normal drama, and then interspersed between that, people would just have sex, and you would see that, and you're like, whoa, okay, cool. And like that was kind of what a Bomba film is. So I think that's what this is trying to emulate.
My name is Dan Dannerson. If you would like me as mayor of Hollywood, I'll make real films for real people. Thank you.
But what I'll say is this is more of a porn to me. I don't know if it's because a lot of this movie, because whenever it cuts, you know, it's like you'll get like a half second of them going, ah, and then it just cuts away to the next scene. There's a ton of fucking in this movie. So
see, I didn't know that, so I just thought it was just, you know, an
now,
innocent,
keep in
like,
mind,
cutaway kind of thing.
Yeah, keep in mind that a lot of this information I got was from like Wikipedia. So I mean, who knows how accurate any of the shit I'm saying is. But anyways, Dan,
yes,
question
Jared.
for you.
Yes,
the overall cinematography of this film.
I'm surprised that I liked it. I'm surprised I liked it. Most of this is very handheld, so it has that shaky cam aesthetic, but it really fits. It really fits with the overall tone of the film, I think. So here's my question to you: how did you like the? Well, I guess it kind of goes into the cinematography as well, but the moments where he's on the phone, like making a FaceTime call.
I don't know. I didn't really like it. It kind of took me out of the movie, but there's something about Rod.
Yeah.
He has a charisma.
Yeah.
That kind of draws me into every scene.
Which is weird.
At first I thought it was like, oh, maybe it's just like I'm enjoying the writing, or I'm enjoying, you know, this silly story or whatever. And I'm like, I think it's Rod.
I think it's Rod too, and it's so strange because he doesn't really have that much dialogue whenever he's like seducing women. He just kind of does it. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're really sexy." And
the thing is, he gives
you.
off like
Rod Alfie is a sketch artist, by the way. He sketches female figures nude, and he says he does it because he loves the female figure and it turns him on. So that's all he does with his life.
He's not like a supermodel looking guy, right? He's like a normal kind of average guy like you or me. And to him, for him to have this like on-screen presence is pretty cool. I think it's something called confidence.
Mm.
Yeah, and
something that you don't have.
Yeah, I don't. I've read about it, in magazines and stuff.
Legend has it.
There's
a way that one can attain confidence.
Yeah, he has whatever that is, I think.
Fair enough.
But anyways, okay, so Dan, what did you feel about the story in this movie?
So I brought this up off mic. I think that this film is just basically Kill Bill.
Yeah.
But with porn in it, I guess.
I mean, honestly, if you put like sex scenes into Kill Bill, I think that would enhance the film. Let's not fuck around.
How many minutes do you think were cut out of this film?
This film is twice as long.
Really? So
there are so many fucking sex scenes, and I guarantee they all go on for at least 5 minutes.
Wow.
There's so many. Sometimes it would be like a 10-second scene, and then it would cut to another sex scene. Like, there's so many. It's interesting because overall, before I knew this film was just Kill Bill, I was kind of enjoying it. Mm-hmm. And it was like silly or whatever. And I liked the dialogue a lot in this movie.
Oh, no, the dialogue is probably what carried me through the film the most.
Yeah, there was some really interesting, and even the camera work, even though it was a really like cheap equipment, cheap camera and everything, I was still engaged with that. The times it was losing me would be the action scenes. I didn't really like them.
See, I kind of like the action scenes.
Really?
They sucked, but I liked them.
Explain what some of these action scenes look like, Dan.
There's a lot of...
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. Okay, we're going to spoil the movie now. I don't know. This is what I'm going to say to you guys. I don't know. Okay, Dan, go ahead.
As in, you don't know if you can recommend, or you just don't know?
Everything. Any concept of what I could say. I don't know.
I will second that. I don't know either, but here's some of the action scenes.
Okay.
There's a scene with this guy named Oswaldo Villafuerte, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And he's dispatched to... Okay, well, first of all...
How come he doesn't get a sex scene?
First, we have to take a couple steps back. All right.
What the fuck, Rod? Let other people fuck in your movie.
Here's the deal. The action scenes are very poorly done visual effects, and I like that. Like, anytime that a gun fires, like, it's just white flashes on the screen, and it looks bad. And then
the ninja stars.
My favorite was the ninja stars. Yeah, the really weird CGI ninja stars that are just like 2-dimensional.
They're not good.
And what, like, it looks stupid, but it combines itself with like really cheesy audio effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the combination between the way it sounds and the way it looks that it's charming to me. Like, it's something that I would do, like, as an amateur filmmaker.
But why wouldn't he just make practical ninja stars? Like, just make some fake ones. I don't know. I don't know why he did CG.
If I was taking you seriously for a second. I was going to be like, because they would kill them, Jared.
No, I'm not saying use real ninja stars. Gosh.
Anyway, let's talk about how we get to some of these action scenes, and we'll talk about them a little bit further.
Sure.
So, Rian is...
That's the assassin lady.
She's the assassin lady, and she sees Alfie, and it's her job to kill Alfie, but she recognizes Alfie because Alfie looks exactly like Amanda
Hug and Kiss.
It looks...
Dan, Rianne wants to be healed by sex. Why aren't you healing her by sex?
Alfie looks like a man from Rianne's past named Alvin. And Alvin was friends with her fiance at one point. And Alvin! Yeah, that's kind of basically where I'm going with this. Alvin, he's no good. He gets into trouble a lot. You know why? Because he tries to rape Rianne and succeeds. It was
and then
kind of disturbing.
Her.
Yeah, blackmails her.
But she's kind of into it.
A little. That's what it's implied, at least.
And then she comes back and she's like, "Oh no, do it again." It's yeah.
And then she doesn't kill Alfie because she's reminded of this torture she went through, and she wants to relive the torture? ? Question mark? That's kind of what I got out of it. It's bizarre. Like it's a really bizarre psychological. I mean, I guess it would make sense with PTSD, like just giving into your previous traumas. But it really, I don't know. Like it's a really interesting psychological and philosophical turn of events, I would say.
So this part of the film did lose me. I get what he's trying to do with this whole thing. I just think it's a little too much. This topic is the type of thing that Bomba Films want to try to cover. One of the many different types of topics. I think this one's a little more serious than I think the other ones that they would be covering. But anyways, you have this woman who was blackmailed and raped by
Alvin!
Alvin, thank you. One of the chipmunks. And she kills him to get out of the blackmail or whatever, then goes to jail, then gets recruited by the assassins, and then she gets trained in the ways of the assassin, and then her first mission is to kill a man who looks exactly like the person that she was blackmailed and murdered from. And instead of just like, oh good, I'm gonna kill this guy, he looks just like the dude I killed before, she becomes sexually attracted to him. So then she starts a relationship just kind of based off of that, and then almost falls in love. But there's this monologue at the end where Alfie is like, I find it very interesting that you're able to overcome, because she tells him, like, you look like the guy that I killed and that blackmailed me and raped me and all this other stuff. And he's like, I commend you for kind of moving past that, because he's basically trying to say, like, even though you were raped, you should still be able to enjoy sex with people you care about. And don't let that experience take that away from you. And I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting idea. Just not when you're saying that about the person who looks exactly like the guy who had raped you. Like, that's the part where it's like, that's a little much. Now, if she met a completely different guy and then fell in love with him, or not even fall in love, because this movie's like, we don't really even care about love. We just think sex is great. You should have sex. It's a beautiful thing, and when done right and two consenting people, it's awesome. I like a lot of the messages in this movie. I just think the need for Rod to be every main character and him trying to write himself into that was a detriment to the film.
Interesting.
Does that make sense? I know I kind of rambled on a little bit.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
He had some interesting ideas, and I don't know if they were 100% hitting that nail.
That's what I'm about to say. It's like he had a lot of interesting ideas that, fall into that Bomba category. It's like, let's tackle this like really intense topic like we're talking about and see what we can explore with it. But that being said, and this was something I was going to bring up in the first place, all the really cool psychological and philosophical things that are happening, I don't think they are necessarily attached the way he wants them to be to the narrative of her killing the whole gang that she's part of.
Yeah, I honestly have her be an assassin, that's fine, but cut out like everything. Cut out all of like her training and all these other characters, and I don't know, like I don't need any of the Kill Bill stuff. The most interesting things is when it was Alfie and her talking back and forth.
Yeah, it reminded me of a Wong Kar-wai film. And Wong Kar-wai, he's like known for these like really stylistic romantic dramas that just unfold over the course of a couple meeting each other, and they're typically like chance romances, like people just meet each other for the first time, and then the relationship sparks from there. And I think that was a pretty good start, but it deviates and goes down the path of an action movie, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Do you think this movie could have been helped with more conflict in the way of like
internal conflict?
Yeah, just like less action and more.
Well,
I actually like the drama more, is what I'm trying to say.
Here's the question. What is the purpose of the action? Like, let's break down why she's doing what she's doing. Why is she going back and destroying the whole clan that brought her up? Why did she do, like, what is her reasoning behind that?
I don't know. Do you know the answer? Is there an answer?
I don't remember.
I don't even know, because she's doing it so she can basically do whatever she wants sexually, because she's found like, I want to be healed with sex. Literally, that's one of the lines. by Alfie, and I don't want anyone to get in my way. Basically, she's fighting against sexual repression. This is not even a joke. I think that's what's going on.
Interesting.
Because they're like, you can't do this. You have to go and kill people.
So the regimented, the regimented discipline of the clan of assassins is representative of this repressed sexual desire.
Yeah, and like the government making laws and saying like, hey, you can't look at this stuff. You can't see this stuff. You have to see our propaganda. You have to see what we want you to see. And they're like, no, that's not realistic. That's not what life is. In life, people be fucking, Dan. In life, that's what we be doing.
I know.
So I want to be doing that. And I think in this film, it's like, I want to show that because it's a real thing that happens in real life. And I commend it for that. And I think it's very interesting. But let's not have rape in your movie. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Like, you could have gotten that point across without that part. Because even for a sexy film, it's like, do you want to see that in your... I don't know. I don't want to be seeing that in my sexy film.
I don't know. Like, I don't... It's such a weird tightrope to be walking here. Like, I don't want to say that I want to see rape in a film, but I also don't want to censor artists, and if that's what they want to tell their story about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, there's a time and a place for everything. And if it's handled well, then it could be... artistic in a sense, but does that make me not woke?
Oh, well, the classic scenario would be like Irreversible, right? I mean, that film is not what it is without the worst rape scene I've ever seen in a film. But I would still classify that movie as really good. I mean, probably his best film. I forget the name of the director.
Gaspar Noé.
Yeah, Gaspar. Yeah, because a lot of his other films I don't like, but that film I thought was fantastic. But what a fucking hard film to watch.
Yeah. So, Jared, I have a request for you.
Sure.
Let's both pick our favorite scene of the film, and let's talk about them.
Okay.
Who's going first?
I liked when she was hiding under the bed.
Really?
I thought that was a really cool scene.
It was a really good scene.
And so we had the assassin lady. She's hiding under the bed. She's going to kill Alfie. This is their first face-to-face talking meeting, because she was spying on him before, where she was like taking pictures of him. And he's like dicking around. He's taking a shower, whatever. And then she sneaks out from under the bed, and she has a samurai sword this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, by the way.
Great. and he's like, oh, hey. And then they see each other, right? And he's like, how did you get in here? He's like, oh, is this some kind of like cool, sexy game? He's like, I'm into this. So he's immediately trying to flirt with her. And she's trying to explain like, no, I'm going to kill you. This is serious. And she pulls out a gun. And there's just something about it. It's just, again, charming.
Yes.
Like they're back and forth. And I kind of wish they gave the female lead more lines, like Rianne. I mean, they made her really stoic and serious.
Yeah.
I kind of wish over time that she was able to like come back to her old personality. I mean, there's scenes of her like crying because of what had happened, like because of her trauma.
Even the ending, whenever she's like, pontificating to the camera or just narrating, basically.
Yeah.
That was really good too. But Jared, my favorite.
Some intense stuff in this movie. Okay, go ahead.
My favorite scene is very lighthearted, compared to the rest of the film. I don't know why it's my favorite scene, but it is. It's whenever she bests her master, like the student versus master fight.
Yeah.
So basically, she gets a ninja star thrown at her, and she dodges it, and she throws a ninja star back, and then V catches it. And she's like, what, with all your training, you really think you can best me? And then she's like, actually, yeah. And she pulls out this little remote control, and she hits a button, and then gas flies out of this ninja star and chokes the woman to death. And she's on the ground, like, just dying painfully on the floor. But it's so, like, funny looking.
But what's fucked up is that she runs up, she's like, oh no, I didn't mean to kill you. And I'm like,
yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did, actually.
I loved it. I don't know. I always love those student master fights. They're always fun.
I think it would have been better just without the CG. Like if they just used all practical effects, that would have helped me more.
Yeah, but Jared, CG is cheaper, especially in this case.
Oh, in that same scene, where she has the gun and she was hiding under the bed. She says, "If you tell the cops about this, you're dead." And then she shoots him. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is he dead now? And I guess it put him to sleep. But when I first saw it, I was like, what is happening? But yeah, this movie has some bad lighting. It's very cheap looking. But what helps a lot is where they put the camera. Mm-hmm. And I think some of the dialogue's really interesting, the back and forth. I think it would have helped more with not just having Rod have sex with every single woman. I think that's a little much.
No, like make it a straight up like homage to Wong Kar-wai and just like make her an assassin. She's hired to kill this dude, and then they hit it off from there and just explore the nuances of that feeling of, you know, having to break free of your repressed sexual desire for this man who looks exactly like this guy who traumatized you. Like that is an amazing concept.
Idea. Yeah,
it's a crazy concept. Like it's there's so much to unpack there.
I think taking it more seriously actually
absolutely
would have helped the film, and less about the the Kill Bill stuff, I guess.
I mean, as always, I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah. It is a wild ride, that's for sure.
Yes.
All right, Dan, why don't you give us
You can find us on Twitter at IndieFilmPod. You can find us on Instagram at IndieFilmReviewPod. You can email us at theindiefilmreview@gmail.com. You can subscribe to our Patreon. We have one of those. $1, $2, $1, $3, and $5. And that $5 one, that's for filmmakers, because we have a big old list of films submitted by filmmakers. And if you are a filmmaker that submits to us, that waiting list is about 6 months. So that $5 tier gets you bumped up to a shorter list, and then you can meet your press embargo.
It's funny because every time I think like, oh, we haven't been getting a lot of requests lately, and then it's just bombarded. We get fucking bombarded by requests, and I'm like, God damn it, there's so many.
Anytime that we don't get a lot of requests, I'm not too worried, because we still have a lot to go through.
We keep hacking away at the list, and the list just stays the same length. So anywho, if you like this show and you want to support the show, really just tell other people about it. That's the biggest thing. Like, if word of mouth is so helpful to us, just let other people know that you think, like, they like movies or independent films or whatever. Let them know. That really helps us. So yeah, necropodicon.com. You guys all know that by now. You guys all know what it is. Go look it up. necropodicon.com. Go look it up.
Necropodicon.com.
I know, right? Dan, you have the final word.
Bomba. It's nasty films. It's nasty films. La la bomba.